Hey guys, Omerko here, self-taught web developer. I realized that for a couple of weeks we didn't do much with CSS at all, so here we are. In today's video, we will create full web page layout with Flexbox. As you can see on the screen, we will have just a few sections here. Navigation bar, then header, then some type of services separated into three different columns. And also we will have here one part for kind of contact section, but it won't be the contact elements here, and also the footer. So for this we won't use advanced techniques or something more complex, but we will just use simple Flexbox and that flex property that we have on it. So with that you will see how easily it is to use and create alignment with Flexbox. Now that you saw what will we create today, we can jump in code. Let's first see what we have in our code. In our HTML, we have just one link that is leading us to the styles CSS, our external CSS file, and the title. Regarding CSS, there I just have some base stylings and also font family that is Lucida Sans. So first thing that we will do is a navigation bar. So navigation bar. For my navigation bar, I will use nav tag, and that nav tag I will add here and comment end of navigation bar. And that nav tag will be separated into two sections, one for a logo and one more for navigation. So logo section, and here down navigation. So my logo section will just have a link inside with logo text, and the navigation will have an unordered list with list items, and each of list items could have a anchor tag, a link tag to, for example, home. I will copy my list items two more times, so home, services, and contact, for example. And I think that we are done for the markup for our navigation bar. On my browser, as you can see, we just have those default styled by browser. So let's style those. So now in my CSS, I will put a comment for navigation bar, and I will target my nav first. So for my nav, I will put the background color to be F2, 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 for example, and padding to be 15 pixels from all sides. I will also put the display on my nav, display, to be flex, so we could work with Flexbox. To work with Flexbox, we must always set our wrapper, in this particular example our nav, to be displayed as flex. By that, all elements inside of it could use Flexbox properties. Now I will target my logo section. So nav.logo, and I will set flex to 1. I will also target my navigation section, navigation side of my nav. So nav.navigation, and set there also flex to 1. Let's check the browser now. So in my browser you can see that those are separated now. The reason for this is basically we have our wrapper set to flex, our nav element, so content each side could use Flexbox properties. We used flex 1 on both sections, and that flex property will declare how much spacing should that section take. As we set that flex to 1 for both of our sections here, those will be equally divided. So those will be 1 by 1, or 50% of a screen will be a logo section and 50% of a screen would be a navigation section. Now here, if I would set my logo to be 3, flex 3, and navigation still 1, in my browser my logo section takes up 3 times more spacing than my navigation. Now let's style this a bit so it don't look this bad. So I will target the link inside of my logo section. So nav.logo, and that link, I will put the color on it to 333, then font size of 20 pixel, and text decoration to none, so we don't have that underline. Then here for my navigation, after flex 1, I will also put text align to right, so our links would be moved to the right part of the screen. Then I will target each of my list items in my list, so navigation, unordered list, and list items, and I will display those as inline blocks. The reason for this is we would have now our links in one line, and we will lose that kind of disk style for our unordered list. Now I will style each link inside of the list item, so each link should have a color of 333. Yeah, then text decoration should be none, also to don't see that underline, and margin right of 15 pixel, so those are not stacked together and have more spacing. In my browser you can see now that we have a nice navigation bar, which is easy to create. Now let's work with the header. So for my header, I will use a tag of header. Let me put the end comment also, so end of header. And here I will have one section called content. Reason for this section is simple. We must specify width of the content, so we will be able to set our content in center of our screen to not take the full width of the web page. And in my content section, I will have a h1 of hello world. And also I will have a paragraph, some lorem ipsum text. That's okay. And let's add a button with type of button. Text for this button could be to contact us. In my browser we can see that default stylings for these elements. So now in my CSS I will put comment of header, and I will target that header. So let's style this a bit. So first of all I will put padding on it to be 40 pixel, 15 pixel, so we could have some spacing. Then I will put text align to be center. Also I will put a background of linear gradient. So I just wish to have some background color to not have that white color in background. So the gradient will go to right side, and the color would be first FFF DE4, and the second color would be 005AA7. I should put a hash here. Okay, so now main part. I will set the display to be flex. So display flex. So now to style that content in the header dot content, I will put max width to it of 900 pixel. So now save and to browser. In my browser, my section is cutted here to 900 pixel. Text is aligned to center, but my content section is not in center of my header. So for that, we can use justified content, and I will put that to center. So justified content can work together with Flexbox. And if we displayed our wrapper for our content to flex, we can also justify our content with this property. So as you see, this justify content will take my content and put it in center. So now that we center our content and we kind of don't see the linear gradient, we need to fix that. And also this button looks stupid, so let's go back in CSS and style those. So the reason for my gradient that is not working is comma here after to right. And regarding the button, I will go to header, then content, and a button inside. And I will put the border color of a button to be transparent. Then padding to a button of 8 pixel from top and bottom, and 12 pixel for left and right. Then margin top to 10 pixel to move it a bit down from that paragraph. Then background color of a button could be 1E6FCA, that's a kind of blue color. Then color for the text inside would be FFF, so the white one, and cursor could be pointer for a button. Let's go back in a browser. So now we have the gradient as a background, and also button looks different. So for my services section, plan is to have 3 sections next to each other. So let me put the services here. I will create the section with class of services, and inside I will have a div with class of section. I will copy this div 2 more times, as the plan is to have 3 different sections, and I will also add here end comment of end of services. So for each of my sections will have h3. I could put some content inside, for example content header, and p for paragraph. I will use a lorem ipsum text. Let me also copy this in my other 2 sections. So in my browser I can see all of that content, but that is one below another. So let's jump into CSS and see what could we do. So in my CSS I will put comment of services, and I will grab my services first. So services, I will put padding to 40 pixel, 15 pixel, so it's not all the way to the sides. And as you know, first thing, we should display services as flex, as we will work with the Flexbox. So now it's kind of easy. I can put services and grab each section inside section, and one thing that I could do is just put the flex to 1. So all of my sections inside would be equally separated one from another. So in my browser you can already see that we have 3 columns, 3 different sections, one next to the other. So the Flexbox worked the magic. One thing, I don't like that this kind of text is so close to the next section, so I will fix that. So here where I styled my section, I will put the padding to 0 pixel from for top and bottom, and 15 pixel to left and right. One more thing, I will here in my index.html change this second section to have a class of section 2, and in my CSS for that section 2, so services dot section 2, I will put flex to be 2, so it will take double more spacing than normal sections that we have. So now in my browser you can see that this section is flexed to 1, and this also. The middle section is taking up 2 times more spacing, and the padding is kind of bigger as we set it that way. The one thing that I don't like here is basically that my paragraph in the section 2 is small content, right? I will add one more here. So I will copy this paragraph and just put it down below. So now this looks fine. So for my content section, my plan for the content section is to have 2 sides of it, but those are next to each other and are also taking like a half of a screen, not full width like services section. So for that, contact, I will create the section with class of contact, put the end comment here, so end of contact. So first of all, I will have a section inside with class of main content. This section will be used as a header section here that is just called content. We will define the max width for it, and by that we will put entire content in center. Main content will have a left side and right side, so right here. Cool. So left side we could put some, I know this is the contact section and we could put forms, etc., but for this I will just use some basic elements. So h1 form to fill, for example, and I could use 2 paragraphs here, lorem ipsum paragraphs. So 1, copy this one, 2. For the right side I will use an image, and for the image I will just copy and paste one value. So this will be fine. As this is the image also of sky, I will just put sky as an alt text. So let's go into browser. So in the browser we have that h1, we have 2 paragraphs, and the image, it's kind of too big, right? Let's go into CSS and do the magic with Flexbox. So in my CSS I will have a contact section, and I will grab a contact here. So padding as usual 40 pixel and 15 pixel. Then one thing, I need to display this as flex. and I can work with the main content in a contact section. So contact, main content. I will put max width to it of 900 pixel as we had on a header. Now that I have max width here and I displayed my contact as flex, I can use a justify content to be center. The same thing that we did inside of our header. Now that we will work with the left and the right side, which are inside of our main content, we should also display this main content as flex, as this is now our wrapper for our left and right side. So targeting my left side, so contact and left, I will use flex to be 1, and targeting now the paragraph inside my flex, P, so I will just put the margin on the bottom to 20 pixels, so those are not stacked together and not so close to the heading. Now for the right side, so contact and right side, here I will also put flex to 1. Let's stop now and see how this looks in our browser. So this is what we have. Yes, we have a H1, we have 2 paragraphs. There is a spacing here, which we added, that's okay. But the image is obviously too big. Even if we use the flex 1 on our left and right side, the image itself is too big. So we need to change the image itself. So for this I need to target the image, so contact.right, then image, and I will use a max width of the image. I will put the image to be 70% of the right side, so it's not full width. And also I will put the display to block and margin to 0 and auto. These 2 properties for the image will just put the image to be in the center of the right side of our content. And here it is, this is what we have. There is only one more section left to do, and that's a footer. Our footer will be similar as our navigation bar, so this is the great opportunity for you to try to create this on your own. On the left side we would have our copyright section, and on the right side we would have links or for social media. Those links would look like our navigation bar links. So here footer, I will use footer tag, and here I should add a end comment, so end of footer. So as I mentioned, first section would be copyright, and the second one I will name it social media. So for the copyright section I would have a paragraph, I would add a copy sign like this and use my channel name. And for the social media, as I mentioned, we will have an unordered list inside list item and anchor tag for the links. So first one would be Facebook, for example. Then I will copy this 2 more times, then Twitter and Instagram. That's fine. Let's check our browser. So here we have our copyright and we have 3 links for the social media. Now it's a similar thing as we did for the navigation bar. For styling for this footer, I will first use footer comment. Now let me grab my footer. I will immediately display this as flex. Then background color could be 111, a little bit darker. Then padding to 15 pixels from all sides. So for the copyright section now, footer, then copyright that we have, I will use a flex of 1, then color for that copyright I could use 005AA7 as we used, and now I could go to social media section. So footer dot social media, and here I could put the flex to 1. I could use also text align to right to move that unordered list to a right side. Let's stop here and see what we have. So yeah, here it is. On the left side it's our copyright, on the right side it's our links, but those should be one next to the other. So the Flexbox here is working, but we just need a bit more stylings. So I will target my list items. So footer, social media, unordered list, then each list item inside. I will display those as inline blocks. So those are now next to each other. And also I will style differently our link tags inside. So color for those could be the same as for our copyright. Then text decoration could be none, so we don't see that underline, and margin right to be 15 pixel as we had for our navigation bar links. So now in my browser, if I refresh the page, here it is. So you saw how you could just use a basic Flexbox. You could create quick and workable layout for a web page. I honestly hope that you learned something new today. If you like what you saw, please click like and subscribe as I'm posting new content weekly. Thank you and see you in the next video.